Testing 1 2, check 1 2. Testing 1 2, check 1 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Welcome to our annual meeting. Okay. For those that don't know me, I'm Len Casson, the one that gives you a hard time about everything and anything that goes on. All right. We have our staff here, which is Walter Avelin, so you get to know who he is. Please raise. All right. We have Larry Silva. Arnie, welcome back. It's very nice to know you. Okay. We have Rick Schwartz will be presenting tonight the financials. And then we have Jim Hyman, okay? David Goldstein from TCM is here. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually be talking about the financials this week, which Rick will present. And then what we'll do is we actually have an election, which we have to go through and make sure that the candidates and the ballots are taken care of properly and counted properly, okay? And then what we'll do at this point is if anybody has any questions other than the financials, that can wait to the end, please. All right? So everybody have a good evening. Try to listen. If you have any questions for the man in charge of all our financials, I'll give you Rick Schwartz.
What happened to the program? Thank you for coming. Everybody should have gotten a... Sorry. Everybody should have gotten a copy of the financial statements. We sent it out as we... No, mic is not working. We got the financial statements from the accountant on Monday night. We had them printed here Tuesday morning. An email went out Tuesday, which is as much notice as we could give you. In the past, the comments of that you got the financial statement as you walked in. So we were able to have it earlier. So I'm going to present the financial statements as the accountant has given them to us. Only if this works. That's a good idea. Can you get Matt to come in? Well, it doesn't advance. It's frozen. This was different before. It's on. It's small up here because that's as, but you have it in front of you.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but everybody's got a copy. Anybody missing a copy? Okay, this is a summary of our assets and liabilities at the close of business on May 31st, 2022. That's the end of our fiscal year. So anything that's happened since then is not shown here. So we have three different funds last year. We had the operating fund, the working capital fund, and the capital reserve fund. The operating fund is what we run our day-to-day business out of. The working capital fund is what everybody's contributed here when you purchased your unit. That was the 2 months payment that you gave either to Beechwood, or since then it's come into us. And the capital reserve fund is the money that we've been putting in since the developer left so we can take care of our needs, long-term needs here. And the liabilities are not much that we have due. We have some bills that obviously couldn't get paid by the end of the year, so most of our liabilities are current expenses which took place, which have been paid for since. So our revenues last year were pretty much right on budget. And our revenues consist of the common charges, the suite gas related, the villa and townhouse charges, suite related charges, and capital reserve. Next year, you'll have the capital reserve broken down into suites, villas, and common area. And that's, so when you get your bill this year, you've been paying two different sets of reserve funds. So this shows the income that came in, and then our expenses, which are pretty straightforward. Okay, now these pages are smaller. You've got that there. It's not going to show up. We had a huge increase in our electric and gas bills. Hopefully, we budgeted for the increase this year. And the water bill was way up from the prior year. The payroll came in on budget. Landscaping was a little bit over budget. And we had a lot of tree expenses that we didn't expect. We're trying to allocate them over several years. We had some air conditioning units in the suite buildings that had to be replaced. That's coming out of the capital reserve fund. We try to keep the administrative expenses in line. And we had reduced the cafe expense because we had an operator who took over the operation, so that's what's been taking place this year. The next couple of pages talk about the individual revenues and expenses, and you can see how they're broken down for the different sets of residents. So we've broken down everything. We've been breaking it down more than we had done in the past, so we're trying to stop some of the expenses from going forward. If we notice that we have a lot of repairs in one of the buildings for air conditioning, we'll look to see, is it time to replace it? And between the maintenance committee and the finance committee, we seem to work that out. So this is basically what's gone on. You can see here, page 16 to 19, the budget and the actual. So those 4 pages will show you our expenses. Then the next set of pages after that shows the reserve study, and based on what our estimated useful life is and what our expenses are going to be coming up to replace the items here, such as the asphalt and the pavers, and then eventually we're going to have to replace the masonry and the suite buildings and other items. So you've got several pages that have that, and then you've got the estimated useful life for the HVAC. Now, this is their guess. This is the reserve people who did the study. This is their best guess as to what it's going to be. Obviously, some of the buildings have already had the air conditioning replaced because it didn't last as long. Some stuff goes a longer life. Anybody have any questions? What does it entail? Some of it, we have there's carpet cleaning in the clubhouse all the time. Every week, there's a group of people who come in here and clean the carpet, and then. No, it's not the cost. It's the maintenance. It's the cost of cleaning the carpeting. What?
It's cleaning and maintenance. It's not buying new carpet.
It's not. No, there's not. Not buying, there was no, we didn't buy any new carpeting this year. Marie, what page was that? 16. I believe we used more water than we had used in the past, but the cost of electricity and the cost of the gas went up, which we've had no control over, but it was a lot more than we had anticipated. That when we did the budget gets done in probably March, April of the year before, and then we got hit with a number of increases in that during the year. So, and there's three types of expense for the electric and for the gas. You have sweet gas and common gas. Common gas is for the clubhouse. The electric, there's Villa Electric, Sweet Electric, and Common Electric. Again, the Common Electric is here. And, but the gas in the suites, that's everybody's apartments plus the common areas. The thought was that that last year, because of COVID, we did not get a bill for water for 6 months. So they caught up this year.
I don't have a question. Somebody had a question.
Oh.
Why the water bill was so high? Why the water bill was so high? The water.
I think we're kidding. The way it was built. If somebody has a leaky toilet, doesn't fix it, it's using thousands of gallons of water.
Right, if somebody leaves the sink running, just literally water down the drain, but it's our expense all over the place, because we're all 720 units are sharing that expense. You have another? Peter?
Yes, on page 3 on the balance sheet, there's a due to condo 3 of $43,747. For the benefit of the residents and condo 3, could you explain what that represents, please?
I can. David, can you explain that?
I think that money due back to them from when they had that foreclosure. There was a foreclosure there, we eventually got money for it, and money due back to them. I don't have the money.
Keep it away from the speaker.
Hi, I'm sorry. So I believe that's funds that are due from the HOA to the condo from funds that we got in from a foreclosure.
So that'll go back to the condo this year?
Yes.
Tom?
Hang on, Tom. No. Nobody, there's 150 people watching at home that can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just see the large negative variance to plan for site improvement, $129,000. What is that?
The site improvement, we had a lot of water drainage problems here this year. There were in several buildings. I know in condo 6, condo 5, condo 4, and I think condo 3 also, condo 2. So that was to fix all the drainage problems, and so we did not have ponds behind everybody's house. You used to be able to walk from the front of my house to the back of my house on the side. You were like underwater. So the committee, the maintenance committee found a vendor and took care of that problem. So hopefully we fixed it all. There's one last one that's being fixed right now in condo 6, and hopefully that won't occur again. Okay, I thank you very much. We can go on to the election.
Okay, so as we do each year, we need some people to volunteer as our inspectors in election. Today should be a lot easier and quicker. We're just going to open up all the envelopes and make sure that we do have a quorum. So if we can get half a dozen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody who has their hands up, we can use all of you. And we'll go out there. You can talk amongst yourself while we're out. There's coffee and cookies here if you'd like while we're gone, and we'll be back shortly.
shouldn't be like that, and if it is, that needs to get looked at by our service people.
So put in a work order request. If you don't put it in, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you that. Well, put it in your building. Put it in your building. You have to start somewhere. I don't have any control over the maintenance committee. Roger Cole, Roger Cole is in your condo.
He's in, he's in the adjacent building, he's in there.
So talk to Roger.
What you're talking about is unusual. Most of the time, people are thinking that's the time. So, we need to find out what's going on in your building.
Even on the board, sorry.
During the winter time. We have a maintenance company in the contract, and they should look at that and find out if this is the problem. It could be chemical synthesis is not working correctly. Out in the street building on the other side of the community, I find this generally to be okay. It varies by building. But if it's that cold, something needs to get looked at. There might be something wrong with one of the sensors. It shouldn't be that cold. It's really not cold. Maybe something.
Tuesday, I'm gonna
Turns out, he actually
Okay, if we can come back to order. Okay, surprisingly, we did have a quorum, and we had a tie, and 3 people were elected to the board for 3-year terms. My condolences to all the winners. Okay, we're doing questions and answers, right? And I guess we'll open up the floor if anybody has any questions. Yes, sir. Matt, where are you?
They give you the mic. 1 minute.
Thank you. My name is Lou Meltzer. I live in building 31. And one morning, several weeks ago, I was awakened by the sound of pickleball being tried as an experiment. The reason I'm speaking tonight is because I have let my feelings and reasoning known to the board as to why I would not like the pickleball right outside of my window. The predominant reason is very personal, and I'd rather not go into it now, except to say that I have a health problem which requires me to sleep late every morning, and that can be proved by cardiologists' letters, and I will if need be. And I would hope that that would be taken into consideration, and whoever is making the determination to place these pickleball courts outside of the side of building 31 that faces west. In the letter that I wrote to the board, I also listed other reasons and documentation that I wanted to see, which would be the amount of parking required, whether any variance was obtained from the town in order to eliminate the parking, whether other locations were considered, and I have been assured by the board that all of that information, which I listed, will be made available to me before any decision is made. And I will tell you that when I voiced my objections, I expected to be met with some hostility, but quite the contrary. Len Casson, who I had never met before, was extremely accommodating to hearing my point of view, and I considered his responses for the time being as adequate as I could hope for. And I just want the group to know that I have been promised full access to information before any decision is made. So thank you.
Thank you.
You caught Lenny on a good day.
You know, due to Lou's situation, I happen to agree with him for his main reason, number one. And number two, from what I heard, how much money was allocated to pickleball. I've been told by a lot of people there's no way it could be done for that amount of money because fencing has to be put around it and a lot of different things. So it might require an assessment. Or I've also heard that the clubhouse needs a lot of work and that money probably could be allocated way better to the clubhouse.
Okay, thank you. Matt, there's a question in the second row. Matt, this way.
Howard Applebaum, Building 48. I just have a question for the board about the upcoming renovation project for the suite buildings. I'd like some clarity on it. It was raised in the September memo from the board that says that they're going to be renovating only 3 buildings a year over the next 12 years, I guess, give or take. And I just wanted some clarity. Is it a question of the finances to have it done? Or is there some other reason why it's not going to be done a lot quicker?
When this budget was made this year, we were going to do 3 renovations this year, building 1, 2, and 9. Next year, we're going to finish off the other 6 in condo 2. And depending on if we can, I'm sorry, the rest in condo 1, and then we'll go on to condo 2. So there's 6 planned for next year. I'm telling you now, this is an update. I'm telling you now, this is an update. If you don't believe me, nothing I can do. Don't believe me. I don't care.
Any idea on when the west side can see new speed bumps? Sorry, say it again? When will the west side see these nice new speed bumps? Yes, we do. Especially on Shady Lane, where everybody thinks it's a drag strip.
I'll tell you what, we will look.
Hang on.
Okay. If you feel that there is a need for that, out of the actual, evaluation we've done throughout the last year and a half of putting the speed bumps in, temporary and now permanent, if you feel at that point that it is a dangerous situation, we've not gotten any real information about that, even though we had security sit there. I myself sat there for 3 days in a row, and not too many people were flying through. If you feel as if you need one, then I will request one to be put there, and we'll take care of it. How's that?
Should be at the corner of Roosevelt and Shady.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about. Yes, okay.
Somewhere along the length of
Wait, hold up, let me get a mic.
And somewhere along the length of Shady Lane.
Well, we'll do an evaluation on that side, but we definitely will, if you need to one, we'll put another one in. Okay?
Thank you. I also like to express my objection for the pickleball court.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you please stand up? And who are you?
I am Malus Molavi. I live in building 31. I actually spoke to you without, yes. And my objection is for pickleball court in the west parking lot, which I face to it. And just one day that they had the experimental game there, it was quite inconvenient. Very noisy, not only the game by itself was very noisy. Expected.
Gotta hold the mic near your mouth.
The people were around there, their noise even was much more disturbing. And I was told that that will increase the value of the property. Speaking for myself, I didn't buy this condo for market or anything, increasing value. I bought this for convenience, and this will be totally inconvenience for me.
Matt?
There are a lot of speed bumps on the east side, a tremendous amount. And the height of some of those bumps are really ridiculous. Some are very smooth, some of them are like you go over your car, even if you're going slowly. They're not even, and I don't think that they were put down properly. There are a ton of them there. You could go sometimes 30 feet, and you're going to have 2 speed bumps. You just have to take a look at what you're doing to make sure that they're a little more level, some of them.
Okay, thank you. Matt, you got a question over here.
I got one here, I'll come back over.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Salerno, and I just wanted to say thank you to the board for all your efforts that you make, the new board, the old board, for all the efforts you make. You're welcome. It's got to be hard trying to represent the majority and not always the favorable decisions you have to make, but thank you for improving our community and maintaining the quality of life here. It's a lovely community. We're relatively new here, but I thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, my name is Erwin Fishberg. I live in Building 31. It's been stated somewhere along the line that pickleball will increase the value of our apartments. I've heard numbers like $25,000. Len is shaking his head. Okay. But this I've heard. I don't know where it came from, but people are expounding this. Okay. Does that mean that once pickleball goes in, the value of our apartment, people that have them on the market, could raise what they're asking by $10,000, $15,000, $20,000?
I wouldn't know, Erwin. I have no idea because I don't know where that came from.
Okay, but that's things that have.
You can ask the people that sell here, which is Mark or whoever else is here, or any other salesperson, if that does actually give, if it actually raises the price of your home, if you've done a study on it, the answer is yes. If you read millions, it's the biggest and fastest, largest sport in the world. All right, it's growing. All right, it's on every commercial, it's on every sports network now. And the best part about it, that it does increase the value of the community itself.
Okay.
Does it mean that it's going to increase your home? I cannot tell you. I am not a broker. I am not a salesperson, so I can't give you a direct answer. $25,000, I don't know where the rumor started, because I am not one that started that. Okay? And I do just know that they're putting it on ships. They're putting it in the fancy places in Cabo. They put it in Manhattan. They're putting it into all the Lifetime sports. They're putting it to gyms. and it's expanding more and more and more throughout the island.
I know, 4.8 million people are playing it right now. I've read
Whatever
all
the number is, but I can't tell
all
you
the
if it's going to
statistics.
increase by 25,000. I don't know what the value is, so I have to tell you straight up, I can't answer that.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Oh, the other thing is, I want to commend the board. You guys do not get paid. You take a lot of
very
crap
true.
from the people in this community, and I commend you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. All right? Right here, man.
Hi, Rich Farkas, Building 30. I don't know if you've done a needs, not a needs assessment, but a utilization assessment of the tennis courts, because I live in Building 30, right opposite the tennis courts. And I will tell you from
11:30.
looking out every morning, by 10 o'clock, one of the tennis courts is gone.
Right.
And the other one is still being used. Now, we have a place in Florida, and I understand the popularity of pickleball. And what they did about 2 years ago is they converted the tennis. We have 24 tennis courts, okay, but they converted one of the tennis courts into 4 pickleball courts, and the popularity was so.
Overwhelming.
Well, they took another tennis court and created 4. So what I'm suggesting is to look at one of the tennis courts, and you could create 4 pickleball courts on that one tennis court and still have a tennis court to play.
No, I agree with you.
So I think that would be a resolution that everyone could live with, because it's, it takes a lot of work to convert the tennis court into 4 pickleball courts, and there's a lot of digging and a lot of asphalt that has to be laid and stuff like that.
Correct, and
But
acrylic.
it would, I think, go a long way to relieving or alleviating some of the anxiety that people have.
Understandable. Thank you very much. But it's exactly what we've been speaking to the engineers about. So that's also a proposal that's being sent to us, to saying what would it be to actually convert that one tennis court. So it's not something that was out of the ordinary. Okay, so I just want you to be aware we are looking into it. Okay?
Hi, I'd like to know, please, what the status is on redoing the clubhouse. I know there was a committee that was formed at one point,
Right.
and it's at a standstill, and there was supposed to be money allocated to that, and I just would like to know your answer for that. And also, I agree with everybody here about the pickleball court. Obviously, I'm in Building 31, and I feel very strongly about not having it. As Malu said, it was so noisy that morning. People were cheering and yelling, and cars were coming and going and honking. It was ridiculous.
Right, but it wasn't the pickleball, it was actually the people.
Yes.
Right.
Playing
They were enjoying
pickleball and
They were
coming.
enjoying themselves.
No, they were disturbing everybody
Okay.
in that area.
They have other people.
And
that were
I
here. Go
know
ahead.
people, I have good friends in Country Point,
Right.
and what they did was, they took one of the tennis courts, put lines in, very simply, didn't cost a lot of money, just to see what the popularity is and see how many people actually were playing before they put a lot of money into constructing and a fence and making a whole new pickleball court.
Okay.
So those were my 2 questions.
Well, the first
So,
question I'll answer.
First question, thank you.
First question is that, yes, we've already spoken about the allocation of funds that we have to redo the clubhouse. That's number 1. Okay, number 2, we also went out and got an RFP, all right, proposals. We also have approximately about 5 different proposals. We settled on one, all right. He is coming here to discuss the actual presentation to the board and to the committee to show exactly what the, I should say, the decorator has chosen for the clubhouse. So that possibly might, and I'm just saying might, I'm not giving you any definite times, that will be handled and started possibly in January. Okay, that's the process of where this is going to. All right, so it's already been taken care of. All right, the committee already knows who they are. It's Classic Galleries, if anybody knows who they are. All right, they have sophisticated taste and so forth. The decorator's been here. She showed us different things that we would like. We spoke about it. They were given ideas what they should do and not do from the committee. And they're coming in, as they say, within next Tuesday, we should have an idea. Not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday. Okay? I'm sorry, reference in what?
Do we have a say in, or choice in where the
committee-
money's going? To pickleball or to the clubhouse?
That money's been allocated already. To the pickleball court, it's been allocated. To the clubhouse, it's been allocated to redo. The suite buildings, the money's been allocated also. Okay, this is all part of the budget. So when Rick already spoke about it, it was already covered. It's already an estimate of what it should cost to redo X amount of suite buildings. We know what it's going to cost us here when it's done to what has to be done with carpeting, walls, paints, whatever, lights and so forth. And when it's done, starting in January. And there will be a schedule. Excuse me? Anything else? Okay.
When we bought our unit, it was under the assumption that it was in a quiet area. There was no Vanderbilt there at the time, and that came. But that didn't affect anything. It hasn't been noisy. There haven't been lights blaring. So I'm wondering what rights we have that it wasn't in the original agreement to have any kind of structure behind my apartment.
Neither was tennis at this point when we first moved in 15 years ago, and neither was bocce. Okay, nothing was there at that point. Everything is to enhance this place and to make it better for everybody. And we did do a survey throughout the community, which was done before the pandemic, and also, I guess, the blog, right, gentlemen? Mr. Steve Schwartz sent out a blog, and he actually found pickleball in favor within this community, that they wanted pickleball. All right, so there's a large number of people that want it. I'm not saying you are. I'm just letting you know what the facts are. That's all I'm doing. All right, do it or not do it, that's the question. The question really comes down to is what is in favor of enhancing our environment that's going to benefit the community. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for her or anybody else or him. I'm doing it for the community. And that's the benefit of speaking to the board and speaking to the community of what their needs are. Clubhouse has to be done. We're doing it. All right, suite buildings have to be done. They're being done. All right, money has to be allocated. It's a fiduciary right of the board to make sure we protect enough money that goes in to support this environment that you supposedly, and we all say it's a high-end area, which is now beneficial for us to live a nice life here. That's the most important thing. The benefit is that the board has got to make decisions with committees. Committees give us recommendations. We then listen to the recommendations. We, in return, will then continue on from there. And that's what we do. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, Mr. I'm sorry. I know who Tom is. I just saw Matt going back there.
Yeah, Mr. Tom. Only because you haven't commented on it. I understand the Director's Corner component of the HOA website has been removed, and I suspect there's some plan in place with regard to that.
Yes, there is. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. If you hold on for 1 second. There'll be an e-blast going out for everybody, so they'll know that when you write on to the Director's Corner, it's going to be going to a new domain. It's called meadow.dir corner@gmail.com. So when you ask a question, just like you did now about whatever financial, it'll be directed back to you, all right? And it'll be given at this point. The actual Director's Corner is being redone, so it gives a different type of appearance, number one. The actual HOA blog is being redone, so it has some convenience for a lot of other things to be added to it. And these are the things that's being done. So that is the reason why that's why it's down now. Okay? Any other question?
Has there been any talk about fixing our roads and getting rid of that squigglies all around?
Glad you said that. Good question.
Thank you.
The squiggly lines, if you read from up there, it does say, hello, you're at Meadowbrook Point. Just to give you a point, the answer is yes. The board has discussed through many meetings about what we should do for making this place look much better. We've actually allocated funds for next year, all right, to get, well, we just started an RFP. We have 4 different companies coming in and giving us proposals to seal coat the roads so it looks like you're just like you went to BJ's redid their parking lot, or you do it. There'll be tar, so forth. It wouldn't look like the squiggly lines. It'll be done very nicely. We just have to set up a schedule, and we have to approve the company that's going to go out and do it. It will preserve the roads for the next 3 to 4 years, so we don't have to spend $1.9 million to remill the roads and redo the roads that we have to do properly over X amount of time. Remember, the fiduciary right of the board is to protect you. Right now, we just had to replace 6 air conditioners, right? We had to replace 6 air conditioners just to let you know what they run. They're $75,000 apiece. Their expectation was to go for another 6 years. But they went down this year, 3 went down, and another 3 went down. So again, multiply that times your 6. There goes some of your money. Okay, roofs have to be redone, $80,000 a roof. We're talking about solar energy. We have some people looking into it. They are now talking about, should we get a benefit? Will they provide roofs? Will they provide solar energy for the suite buildings? Nobody else, common areas. Bottom line comes down to it, they came in with an offer. We said, gee, what a great offer. Came back a second time at the second meeting, and it was a totally different offer. We have to put in $1.4 million of our own money. Money is what makes this place run and maintains the level of high-end living that you want. So people bring up, throw something else. Everybody says, why don't you make an assessment? Well, we try not to assess people. And the reason why we try not to assess people, because it's going to cost you $2,000, $3,000 for an assessment, if we want to do this times 720. So if you do $3,000, well, you guess what? You got 2 point something million dollars to come. We could do this, and we could do the roads. So something we try to prevent from happening here. Okay? Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Barbara.
Can you please stand up, Barbara?
Is
so
there
people
any
can see?
possibility that there could be an assessment made regarding the pickleball court?
The money has been allocated already.
All of it?
All of it's been done. There's no more money that's needed.
Is that the $80,000?
That is correct. That's
What happens if it goes over that amount?
It won't, because we already got the proposals, and it's already, the contract is already set up for us to speak to the 4 companies that are there with the engineers. Once we get all the information, you'll get the information.
So is this the pickleball court made on the tennis court? Or
No,
the
this is 2 separate pickleball courts that are
Oh.
going to be put someplace within the community.
Oh, 2 separate ones?
Yes.
Oh,
All right, and yes, it's a good idea to take the 1 tennis court and make it into 4. That's another price that we're looking at right this point, and see what the use. And yes, it is a good point. We did take by the way, we did do that. We took a survey about how many times the tennis courts are used. After 11:30 in the morning, you're talking it's used 25 times a week. I'll give you a direct answer. How's that? So you only have approximately, out of 1,100 people here, you only have maybe what, 50 people using it? $80,000 cost you right now to redo the tennis court? Translate it again. How much do you think it is to take the tennis court and redo? All right, try $85,000. Not adding lines. You have to get a whole thing. You have to dig it out, put acrylic, you put asphalt, then you put acrylic on it, you put the nets on, you have to put the guide nets between. It's $85,000. 4 pickleball courts. Right, but they're right next to one another. Here you're getting 2 separate pickleball courts. Well, it's 15 years ago, number one. It's 100 feet long. It's 20 by 44. That's what actually a pickleball court is. So you're talking 2 different structures. I'm sorry? How about if we have a microphone, please?
What about the fencing around the pickleball?
What about it?
And landscaping around it?
That's correct. It's all inclusive.
All for $80,000?
All inclusive.
That's $80,000 for 1 pickleball court.
2 pickleball courts.
Okay, the other one was 4 pickleball courts divided by 80,000 is $20,000 each court.
Right.
So it's a much better value.
I'm not disagreeing, but again, we're talking about a population. We're talking about the company. At this point, you live down here, and you're over here, all right? So you don't hear the tennis court, you don't hear the bocce players? Do they make noise also? That's because you don't hear them, because they're on the left-hand side. You're in building, what, 31? That's the reason why. If you were living by building 37, you would hear them. Every morning you hear them. You have people at 8 o'clock in the morning playing tennis. And then you have the bocce people playing, and you have exactly 50 people there. They were yelling and screaming the other day. So the question is, what is building 37 doing now? Remove the pickleball court? I'm sorry, remove the bocce court? Get rid of the tennis courts? They're complaining also that they make a lot of noise. I'm sorry? No, decision has not been made yet. But I'm just letting you know that you're saying something because you're on this side, you don't have that noise. You go to the left-hand side, you have tennis, you have bocce, they have tremendous amount of sounds. And they also have said they make a lot of noise. So the question is, which way do we go? Do we enhance the value of the, guess what, the property and help the people? Or do we make noise down here or make noise here and make it parking lot 3 or go to parking lot 7 and 8? I can't hear you, sir. Yeah, but understand, that was only just for one day. It was only for a couple of hours. It was only to try it in 3 different areas of the community. No, not at all. We're trying to evaluate where it would be. We're not saying it's going to be right there. All right? So we can talk about this all night long. There's no decision has been made yet. We just know money's been allocated. Once the money's been allocated, it is then going to make a decision once we get all the variances, all the engineer work, all the permits and everything we need, then we'll present it to the community. We'll let them know what has to be done, okay? And then a decision will be made. Okay?
Any further questions?
All right? Do I have an adjourn? Wait, before we go any further, let's quickly introduce themselves, our new people. Would you please stand if you're here? This is Lenny Roper, new member of the board. Okay, Arnie, re-elected. People that don't know Walter, Walter's been here for 2 years now, for a year and a half. Okay, he's here. And then you got Larry Silver again, if no one knows him. Jim Hyman, congratulations. Rick Schwartz is here, and I'm Len Casson. And may I move for an adjournment? Hold on, do we second that? Thank you very much. Everybody have a good night. Enjoy yourselves. Hope you had a good time.